Okay, hold on just for a second, guys. Hold on. I have a phone call from the fields. I'm gonna start in like. Oh, guys, sorry, guys. We have a field issue, so I'm gonna start in 1 minute. Like I said, I just need to call the fields. They didn't turn on the lights yet at Lakewood. And we're gonna be starting. The first subject is gonna be offensive movement in a 3-4-3. All right, guys. All right, we're gonna start now. So there's a couple issues. One is what do we do when we're in attacking positions? So now we have an attacking midfielder on the right side. We have attacking midfield on the left side. Number 9 in the center, forward, and 10 or 8, you can call it. It depends on what system you're playing. And 6 deep, 6 standing there, 3 center backs and the wing backs left and right. So we play a 3-4-3. Sometimes we play with 2 sixes, so it looks like this. And sometimes we play with 3-5-2, which would look like this. You want to make sure that if you do that, that means that you really want to control the central areas. This one you need to be right now. What we're going to be working on is really utilize the width. So uh, it's really important that we all understand that uh, standing in your position when we're in offensive position is not going to help you. Instead, it's going to make it really tough for us to actually attack. So a couple things, 3-4-3 formation like this, we don't necessarily want the outside attacking midfield to make this run to attacking area or stand in the central for sure. We want them to kind of move this way, maybe take the attention of this player, and then come back in. And then the forward needs to be making a run diagonally to the space. The other attacking mid needs to be coming to this space. Now, this player with the ball has an outside option, central option, and they can right away pass and pass. Look at it right away. A long ball to this player, a drop and bomb to this player. So a lot more options for our player to do. Now, we all kind of talked about this before, but unfortunately, a lot of our players do not do this right. So what they do is they just stand where they are, and we are counting on these incredible long balls, and we're going to run after it. And that's not messing up the defensive shape. Why? Because if you're standing in your areas, so will the defenders. So if there's a player here, they're going to be here, they're going to be here, they're going to be sliding in here. So if you're standing offensive player, you are going to be very easy to defend. So if the ball is here, by the way, this player will be right here too. But if you're making off the ball movement, so let's just say you're making a move that way, that's taking the player here. And if you're making the second run, that you just clear the way for this player to have this space, and you could be one-on-one with the player. Every action has a reaction for this. So we need to make sure we make them react. Like other sports. Oh, cat, get out. Sorry, guys. Did I just lose that? Sorry, guys. The cat got in the way of that. Okay, we're back. So we want to make sure that you understand that every action is a reaction, like other sports. Like Football, you make a run that way, you take the attention. Basketball, same. Even in any kind of martial arts too, every action is a reaction. Like when you are going to be showing your left, and they're going to try to block that, and you can come up with another plan to attack. So like just like that, soccer is the same. So we want to make sure that you utilize these spaces. You utilize by making off the ball movement. Now, one of the biggest problem is when the player gets the ball in the central position. So a lot of our players, let's just say this player, let's just say, just beat this player right here and has the space to move into this gap. And our forwards are like attacking players are just moving straight forward. This is absolutely the dumbest thing you can do because again, the players are waiting where they are. And if you're not making that move, it's just making it easy for them. So you need to make zigzag runs. So if this player has the ball, same thing. You can make a diagonal run to this way. You can make a diagonal run to this way. You can go wide as you can. That opens up space for the player to see this space, and it's gonna mess up the defensive shape. If they go that way, they're gonna clear this space right here. So we want to make sure you mess up the balance of the other team by making diagonal runs. So another thing you can do is pull the player out of position, run this way. He will come and somebody else, maybe this player, makes a diagonal run to the space. And if you're dribbling, he sees that run coming. And because the player followed this player, opens this space, and you pass the ball in one-on-one with the player. The worst thing you guys do, and you continue to do this at every age, unfortunately, is being predictable. You are just running straight in because only rec players do that. If you're calling yourself a premier level player, you need to mess up the balance of the defense. Again, diagonal runs. And do not check in right to the player either. That's just blocking the way of it. What if he sees an amazing run from here, and because you checked in right in front of him, he can't give that pass anymore, and you did better defense than the other team. So when you check in, you want to check in angles, like this way. So he can still have the space to go forward, right? And he can still see you as well here. Do not check in straight. Big rule. Check in angles. If you want to make a run, make diagonal runs. If you see this player sees this player making a run this way, oh, sorry. Um, Hold on again. All right. If this player, we just lost the player. Okay. So if this player is seeing this player running that way, that is your cue to make a run to the opposite side. So if you see them switching like that, the third player should just start going diagonal. They can check in, but I would prefer this one because that's going to spread out the field. And once we get the ball, we can actually get into some combinations there. We can actually beat the other team. Does that make sense at all? I'll take questions about this. I'll wait a couple of seconds. You can write it in the chat, guys. All right, guys, do you have a question? I'm just assuming you're just falling asleep because that should be some questions there, no? Very good question. Niall is asking, how does playing with a false nine affect this? Can you guys all see the green screen again, the board?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why it's not going back. Okay. So if you play with false nine, which is some of you guys don't know, false nine is like a last man forward that checks in. So he kind of acts like a last man forward and he comes back like an attacking mid. When that happens, these two guys goes to the last man on the outsides. Okay. Why do we do that? Because this player checks in, he's going to pull the defense. Forward just needs to touch it to the side, one of the angles, and try to find the true balls. And you can make diagonal runs, and right away, you can be one on one with the keeper if you're making a good diagonal run. So the cue is for you to go attack is to be able to see this player checking in. That is your cue to go to last man. Ball comes, you pass the ball to space, you're one on one with the keeper. Maybe this player is coming too. You can actually find each other and bomb and score a goal right away. So false nine gives the coaches some flexibility to do different things. But false nine needs to be a smart playmaking type. He has to have good feet. If you're not a technical player, just a fast player, you cannot play false nine. You really need somebody who can hold the ball, who can pass the ball, who is technical to be able to do that. A usual 10 or 8, even sometimes a 6, makes it perfect false nine. Is there any questions about that? All right. This is a quiet group, not a good sign.
I think Chino had a good question, Coach.
Yeah.
Let me see it.
Um, I was just asking for not this part of the false nine that you just explained to us, but when the attacking mids run wide to create the space, do you ever want the wingbacks to advance and play
Oh
almost
yeah, every time.
the half spaces to get
Every time. Like
Mhm.
if they're making this kind of runs, right? They're switching, right? You gotta fill this space too. Both of you guys should fill this space too. Great question. Yeah, but unfortunately, let's just be honest, we don't see that a lot. This guy is usually Miguel that makes this run. All the other attacking, I mean, the wing backs kind of stays back and they don't want to utilize the space. I mean, Anthony, you do sometimes, not enough, in my opinion. Like we do need to utilize that space, especially if the attack is coming from the outside. Let's just change the situation a little bit. Let's change the situation. That's a good question, though. Thank you. So let's change the situation to the ball being here on the wing back to start with. So we make the run and we come back, correct? So the defense is going to be all messed up. We're going to come back to this gap. Forward is making a run, correct? This player is making a run to central, correct? So this player is going to be more compact. This is when the opposite side wing back should be already there here, like almost in the same line. So now when we pass the ball, they can find this pass. This guy gets the ball, he gets the ball and bomb, he can find this space. Or if you find this player, you will be ready to go to the back post run immediately. So unfortunately, our wing back is on the opposite side. They're just kind of chilling right here when we have the ball. This will be the perfect time to step up as high as you can and utilize that space. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I also had a question like for when you explained that the attacking mids would go wide, do you ever want the wingbacks to kind of like invert and go into the central spaces that is left when the
Oh, to
defense?
central spaces.
Yeah.
Uh,
So like
Oh, thank you, sweet pea.
so,
say the right attacking mid goes
What do you
wide and
mean?
brings a defender
all
with
right,
him.
guys, can you
Are you
mute
freaking kidding
yourselves?
me? We just
All right, hold on. I need to mute somebody.
Pick up the milk and it wasn't cold at all.
All right, we don't need to listen to that right now. Sorry. All right. So the movement. So you did this guy makes the run, or this guy makes the run.
The right attacking mid. If the
Yep.
ball, like let's say the number 6 has it in the midfield, and then
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Now you're making sense. Okay.
yeah, and then the
Oh,
space opens up by the defender tracking that right attacking mid. Do you want the right attacking wing back to get into that central space that's left by the defender?
so if he makes the run, right, they're coming this way. I would still prefer if you're in this side to make it on outside of the player.
Okay.
But if you recognize there is a passing lane right here, and let's just say if this is the case, like we are going this way, and there's a player here, I would always make the run outside, and most of the time this is what I want, double the outsides, right? But if you recognize there is a huge gap in here, and this player is looking for somebody to, yes, you can come into this gap, get the ball, and become like an attacking mid to be able to open the game. So it's really situational, Chino. Just recognizing space. So you can change the way that you play if you see that kind of space. But majority of the times, the system requires you to support whoever is on the outside. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. All right. That's a good question. I mean, many different ways. When I didn't understand exactly what you said, I kind of explained something else. So that kind of helped in that way too. So, um, anything else? I'm going to wait for some questions.
Taji, you muted yourself.
No, I did that on purpose because I'm trying to figure out what's going on in Lakewood. I'm waiting for you guys' questions right now. Yes, guys, I'm muted on purpose, I said. Ask your questions. You're so worried about me being muted. Ask your questions. I'm waiting for your questions. All right, I'm going to show you guys something that is very interesting. Professional teams, when they deal with games or situations in practice, they got stats. This is going to look crazy to you, but I'm going to show you guys something. This is from our last U19 game I went. Tell me what you think this is. Can you guys see it, the whiteboard?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, what do you guys think this is? Man, this is a horrible group.
Passes.
Huh?
Passes.
Passes. Very good. All right. So what do you think is successful? What do you think is unsuccessful? Which color is successful? Which color unsuccessful?
I'm guessing blue's successful.
Blue is successful, yes. So just think about this. Our subject in the last couple of weeks, and you guys were a part of the semi-pro team, worked on this too, is goal kicks coming out of the back and coming out of the goal kicks. So when you look at this scan, the data you collect here, even though it's not pretty, right? It's just like all over the place. You guys are looking at crazy stuff. But what do you see that our issue is and our strengths are? How would you analyze this by looking at this data right here? Let me ask Anthony. Red is unsuccessful for sure. Anthony, are you here?
Yeah, the reds are kind of more towards the center.
No,
The
red is the passing lanes, passes
Okay.
that gave and unsuccessful. They did not go. The other team cut the pass.
Okay.
So our subject last couple of weeks working was goal kicks, how to get out of goal kicks, and how to get out of defense successfully. What if you analyze this? What would you say the U19 team needs to work on?
I think knowing when to skip the initial first wave of pressure, so skipping lines to um so when you're getting pressed in the first wave to skip that initial pressure into the
Yeah,
second or third wave.
that could be an answer. Yeah. What else? Let's go with Parker. Do you have an idea?
Is it like no? I was thinking like straight, like kind of like square passes, but I'm not really
Okay.
sure.
No, no. Alfredo, do you have anything?
Maybe not using the center as much and trying to play it wide.
Yeah. So does anybody realize this? There is one side of goal kicks and coming out of defense is completely failing over and over again. Do you see that now? So look at the left side of the defense. Blues all over. The goal kicks to coming out of the back, very successful. They got out, and a lot of lanes started from there, and they got out very successful. Correct? And the right side seems like the goal kicks and coming out of there has been failing. There have some successful passes, but there is like 1, 2, 3, 4 passes failed coming out of the back could be enough to get scored on. And that side, if you can see my mouse, this is the half of it. Look at this side in general, and versus the left side of the field in general. So if you were a coach, two questions I'm going to ask. What are the two things? One, who are the players that you're going to address first? Second, what would you suggest to them to make this better? Write it down or just speak up, guys.
I mean, the right center back or whoever drops into play out of the right side probably needs to play it a little bit wider.
Yeah, look, they one
Back into the
time
middle.
100% success, right? Do you see that white pass, blue?
Yep.
Right here. And it seemed like immediately from there they were successful to get out, correct? And something else happened here and we got out. That was a good, successful combo. So they passed it wider in here. So that was a success for them. They had some success from through balls in here. So coming back to where originally what Anthony said, like what you do with the pressure too. So what would you say to your right center back? Obviously, that's a problem, right? Right, your right center back is failing in this uh, game. So what would you tell them?
To pull back all the way to the line and go wide.
Go wide. Okay. What else? Maybe he's receiving. What if the other teams, and the other teams left at forward and center mid up there was very aggressive. So they get to him right away. So he panicked. So what are the things that we can tell the right center back to do better? Maybe he's receiving a lot more pressure than the left side. Maybe it has nothing to do with how good or bad of the player is, but maybe the other team is more successful pressing that side. So what do we change? What the player behavior do we need to change if that's the case? If they're receiving a lot harder pressure on the left side, so his right side is failing because he's getting too much pressure. What are the things we can fix?
Well, first thing he needs to recognize where the defender is and where he would be pressuring. And if he solely knows that he's going to be going to his right side because that's where let's say that was his first initial pass, he's going to assume he's going to go there again. So
Exactly. Yeah.
don't pass where the pressure is going to be if you know he's moving that way, and just switch
That
it
is
to
the
the other
answer
side.
right there. So if we're receiving the ball there and we are getting immediate pressure and they are still high this pressure, why do we use that side? Number one, right? We can eliminate that option out of there. Two, and if you're recognizing that, maybe the player can pass it back to the left side when he realizes the pressure is hardcore coming from there. Correct? And majority of the time, I would just tell my team, hey guys, let's just do the goal kicks to the left side more. You can fix it that way. Another way to fix it, move it quick, move it wide, or get it up there, high ball to space to our attacking mid right away. Skip the initial pressure and find the other player. Does that make sense to you guys, those options?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna show you guys back to the green board. And let's see. Can you guys see? Just you're seeing me right now, right? That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. My view went away, so I gotta find the share. All right, the green. You guys can see the green board now.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So another thing is the issue with the pressure cover. We're getting a long ball coming in and coming to this player, the right center back, and there's a runner. It could be little over him or right to him. What should be our runs right now? Who should be moving where? The
This
blue gave a long ball.
the center back should be preparing for if the right center back misses the ball.
They're sliding this way. They're sliding that way. They're sliding this way. Where do they go? Exactly.
Diagonally down towards like behind the right center back.
That's it. So what does this guy do?
Shift over. And then the wing back should also start shifting over.
Recover. Recover. So if you miss it, immediately we have to open up, correct? And we get the ball here because he missed it. Where did this guy go? He recovers. We start dribbling this way. We have options. We have options. We have options. We have options. Correct? Immediately we went back to our original shape from there. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
So the pressure cover is everywhere in the field. It needs to continue constantly. There is no time that we stop. Another issue, unfortunately, we face if our outside back, if our outside back gets beat, our center back will go to there. Can you stop watching it from here and cover to the central position, go deeper than the player right here? We don't get to see this. Unfortunately, our outside wing backs, they fail because they're tired or they do not want to run, which is not good either way. So we want to make sure you guys are always making the right runs instead of watching the game from here, cover the central position right away. Does that make sense?
Yes, coach.
Yeah, and it's a failure. And there's another failure that we have. Even though we play with this 1-6, I think we had an extra player now, if I'm not. Let's see. Yeah, there is. So if we are playing with 1-6 and 1-10 or 8, right? So what will happen if our 8 was trying to track this guy and the pass goes to here? And of course, we don't have anybody else pressed to this guy, right? Our 6 needs to go to that. Where does the 10 go now?
He pulls
The
in
empty space.
space. Yep.
Same?
No, deeper.
Deeper.
Deeper. Done.
Yep.
Done. Where does this guy go? Attacking midfield, left side.
To the open blue in the center.
This one?
Yeah, but I guess deeper.
Deeper, I would say. Like, we don't care about him getting the ball. We can step to him, right? And we got to cut these lanes right here. So if you mark him here, you just leave the space to these guys, correct? So we want to make sure you go deeper. And then you're going to recover. And you're going to go to a point. And then they're going to be stepping on stuff, right? They're going to be probably right around here by the time that we get the ball, it should be around there. So we want to make sure you guys recover from that. And this player needs to be making sure that they cut the drop option. It's okay if they drop it back to center here because we are outnumbering them here. We can step and recover. And if he passes to here, we step. And originally, again, we cover, we slide, and we create that space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the next option. We're going to do the board change. And we're going to be talking about defending free kicks a little bit. So number one, we always set up on the 18. We make sure that if the cross is coming from here, you can put 1 or 2 people in the wall, it's fine. We need to make sure we have an outlet on the outside and 1 center forward. When we're defending corners and when we're defending free kicks too. So we need to have an outlet. So if the goalie gets the ball, they can right away find this guy or that guy, and then they can combine some passes until the rest of the team pushes up. But if everybody comes here, we're gonna kind of stuck here for a while. If you don't have, it's like unfortunately players and sometimes coaches make this mistake. If you just bring everybody back, we can defend better. Yes, but then you're going to be defending the next 10 minutes. If you don't have outlets, you stuck there. Like you're going to continue to defend, over defending. Like you want to have outlets and layers to be able to do this right. Do we understand that? Number one. Any questions about this? And then we choose. Oh, is that something?
Yeah, I was gonna say I understand it, but the biggest thing is we need to also tell people at the same time that when we do have two outlets, if they send in a lot of people for the free kick or even corners, there's going to be at least one or two floating person that isn't being marked. So it's kind of inevitable, but everybody loses their mind on the field when there's one man unmarked. But when we have our zonal center backs, that's kind of the not possible to mark everybody, especially if they send 10 people inside the box, you know?
Yeah, but are they gonna like another question of it is again, every action is a reaction, correct?
Yep.
So if we put a guy here and if we put a guy here, do you think everybody's gonna be brave enough to send 10 players in there?
Yeah, not everybody.
They're not gonna. I don't think any coach will do that unless they're behind, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it last 3 minutes, they're behind and they're trying to get back. I understand bringing the guy back,
Yeah.
you know, or I understand also getting rid of one of the guys in the corner kick, we leave in the post to go mark instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can make those choices as you go. All right, let's
Okay.
go back to this situation right here.
Okay.
We usually put two or three players to go early before the kick. One goes to here, one goes to back post, and one goes around here a little bit earlier than everybody else. So we usually choose, and everybody else kind of tries to mark those guys. And because the cross is usually going to be more dangerous in these areas, they go early to face out so they can clear the first ball. And this has been very successful since we've been doing that. And we've been really defending well, especially the free kicks. Alfredo is our center back for our semi-pro team and very successful long-term Gala defender. And let me have him talk about this, why this is very good for our team. I'll let you take over, Alfredo, here.
Okay. I mean, we've been doing this for probably almost 12 years, and it's always given us good success because everybody wants to try and do an offside trap, but offside trap doesn't always work. If you have a smart forward that sees that you're trying to do it, he's going to beat you on the offside traps every single time. And then you're just kind of left in the dust. But if you get back and take advantage and face away from your goal, then you have an extra 2 seconds to get that ball out and see where it's going to go. Because if you're facing your goal, you can adjust your body appropriately rather than trying to backtrack or head the ball away from your goal while you're facing it, which is almost impossible 80% of the time. So it's just it helps get the advantage on the offensive players because most of the time, if you go early, they're clueless and they just wait for the ball to be kicked anyways.
We struggle defending corners, but I don't think we struggle defending free kicks that much. So because we have that rule, and it's much better for us to do that early enough. Does everybody understand that perspective of it? All right, guys. That's it for today. I'm gonna stop unless you have a question. All right. No question. Thanks for coming today, guys. I appreciate you all. And I hope you learned some new stuff and kind of also remember what you're supposed to do in some areas. Thank you. And we will be doing this almost every week to get you guys more input and making better decisions on the field. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Doug.
Thank you, guys.